And it looks like we are live. What is going on, guys? Flip Masters coming at you with episode 10. I cannot believe we're not only now halfway through the season, but double digits in terms of episode count. That is absolutely crazy. And I am so excited for what's as crazy as it is to say, the last episode of 2024. I am so excited to be joined by not just one chef from the season, but two chefs to join me for this recap. First, what is going on to Chef Michael? Michael, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. It was a ride. It was a ride being there.
For sure. Yeah, we'll talk about that in a second. And of course, we got Chef Egypt himself to join us as well. Egypt, how are you doing today?
I'm live and well. I'm doing great. How are you guys?
We're doing well. It looks like Joe's in chat too. I might have missed that, but it looks like everyone's saying hi to Joe as well in chat. So yeah, we got a hi everyone. We got an Egypt. We got the whole crew here today. We got to go around two back with us after taking Thanksgiving off. Well, I forgot, why couldn't you make it last week, Gumball? It's good to have you back, but why were you gone last week?
So my brother was in town visiting, and we decided to go see Wicked the night before it opened. So yeah, we ended up going to that. It's a pretty good movie. I'm a pretty big musical guy, so I'd say it was definitely worth going to see it early.
Just gonna correct Flynn on something. I hate to be an asshole, but you said last week. You meant to say 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. I know. It's gonna be
semantics.
It's gonna be hard to with freaking talk about. And again, literally, when I say next episode, it's gonna take place freaking next year. So, oh my god, that's gonna be awkward to talk about. But Ruby, well, since you're gonna be a smartass to me, Ruby, how you doing today?
I'm doing better, but I will say this: I'm not sure if anybody in the chat is noticing, but after my 2.5 week, pneumonia or whatever, I'm not going to get into the details, but I had a bit of an accident. And as a result, one of my teeth in the front is cracked. It's like part of it is missing. So I'm going to the dentist on Monday to get it fixed, to get a new piece of tooth. And that's it.
And
lastly, oh my God, does that hurt?
I'll get into details when we're private, all right? But
yeah, probably a good idea.
Yeah.
And
I'm good, guys. Everybody, I'm good. Don't worry.
And Ultra, how you doing, man? And for that matter, chat.
My master's is stressful. It's the end of semester, but I'm good.
And chat, that goes for you as well. How was your all Thanksgiving, chat? Ultra, how you been? How was your Thanksgiving? How you doing these days?
I had a good Thanksgiving. I also went to go see Wicked. I thought it was very good. And wanted to apologize up front about something. If I sound a little groggy, it's because I actually am a little bit under the weather right now. Not to the extent that Ruby was. It's not pneumonia. It's also not COVID. I actually did a test just to be absolutely safe. It came back negative, so it's probably just like a seasonal cold kind of thing. I better not have gotten COVID. I got vaccinated for it all. So, it's might be a little bit groggy, but I'll try to muster through it. Besides that, I probably shouldn't do most of the talking in this podcast anyway, because we got some amazing guests on our side anyway. So I want to get before them.
I hope you get well soon.
I was gonna say, guys, we have the most amount of people ever, 6 people. So yeah, it's gonna be an epic podcast tonight. Obviously, a big episode to talk about the blind taste test and a very, very interesting service and a very interesting elimination ceremony to talk about. And Ruby's got to give his official top 100 chefs on his channel. But before we get into the episode, let's touch in with those chefs join us. So yeah, Michael, I know unfortunately, obviously, you were taken away from us too soon. But overall, how was your experience in general? Are you getting noticed on the streets, or does it feel like Hell's Kitchen's helped your career, or just in general, what was it like?
So it was a great experience overall. I mean, 100% do it again. I ironically actually got noticed. I was at the hospital because I got my finger the other day, and the doctor was like, "Oh, hey, I just started watching Hell's Kitchen. This is kind of a spoiler for me." So it was kind of interesting. Not the place I'd like to get noticed, but it was still fun as is. But no, the experience itself was great. Made some great friends like Egypt, and really just I wish I was there longer to get to enjoy it. But such is life. It is what it is.
What was the social dynamics between you two?
Okay. Oh, yeah. One more question. We'll get that in a second. I do want to ask, obviously, since you were taking us away from us so soon. A lot of people thought that was kind of controversial. Your reason for your elimination was not really looking Ramsay in the eye, and like a lot of people thought it should have been Magali that night. What was your takeaway from that? Did you were you kind of upset about that as well, or did you not really care about that? What was your whole take on that?
I definitely was taken away from it a little bit because I felt like I was looking Ramsay in the eye the entire time, Chef. So it was a little stressful. Like when I eventually got done with the elimination, just thinking it back through, and even weirder, seeing it in third person, watching the show and seeing how everyone else, like a lot of my friends were, you shouldn't have gone home, this and that. So it was definitely interesting.
Well, good. I'm glad, despite your short stay, I'm glad you really enjoyed yourself. And well, we do have someone still in the season, Chef Egypt. Again, probably one of the main characters this season, if not the main character. And yeah, what's that going to be like on a show like Hell's Kitchen to be like this main character? You've had quite the journey so far. So, what would you like to tell the chat about it?
Hey, Megan.
Yeah, we've got Megan here to join us as well. But yeah, what's your take on this, Egypt?
It's wild. It's insane. I didn't, obviously going there, I didn't expect for so many eyes to be on me, I guess you could say. So the fact that I watch it and it's like I just see my face a lot. Like I never thought I'd get tired of seeing my own face. But I mean, for the most part, the journey was amazing. It was, I hate to be stereotypical, but it was a dream come true, to be honest.
Oh yeah, and with that said, were both of you a fan of the show before you came on, or did you get recruited, or what's the deal with that?
Yeah, I was a huge fan. I watched every season since I was a kid. Probably watched it 2 to 3 times, honestly.
Oh, nice.
But not leading up to the show, just throughout life. Just watching it. So yeah, and then I actually didn't apply. They reached out to me. Yeah,
it was meant to be, I guess. And Michael, what about you?
So, I mean, I watched a lot of the show, but I'd say more in the later seasons. I had some friends that were on the show, so I was interested.
Oh, really?
Alex Nahar from season 21 or Alejandro.
Oh, wow, cool. Yeah, we've had him on the show before too. So
yeah, good friend of mine. I've done a lot of events with him, so that it was. He told me about his experience, and then I actually reached out to a casting producer and got on the show from there.
Cool. Yeah, all right. So you hear that, chat? These guys are fans of the show too, so you guys can ask questions about that and questions along the way.
Michael, don't you think your trajectory was a little bit similar to Alex's?
I don't know if I would say it was quite the same because he got third in his.
Oh wait, am I confusing him? Oh, Alejandro was.
Alejandro, I'm sorry. Yeah.
I was thinking about the other one, Alex Lunik. My bad.
No, yeah, Alejandro Nahar. Yeah, he did quite well and represented well for the state of Ohio.
Yeah, for sure. Cool. Yeah, let's get on right into this episode for sure. So let me start with you, Gumbo, of course, the predictions guy. What was your whole take? Again, we didn't get a chance to talk to you the last episode about Kyle. Very interesting episode for Kyle as he was nominated and almost went home. And this episode, I didn't really feel great about him either. We'll talk about the service in a second. But even right after to begin the episode, he didn't really get much content like you would expect after someone survives nomination. So what's your take on Kyle nowadays? I forgot who he was for you in the ranking, but just overall take on Kyle nowadays.
Yeah, so I did go down quite a bit on Kyle after this episode. I was starting to not feel great about him coming into last episode. I feel like episode 9 didn't really do him any favors. And I feel like this latest episode 10, wasn't the greatest rebound in my eyes. Like, I mean, he got like a fine enough opening confessional, and the service itself was okay, even though he made some mistakes there. But I feel like this was definitely not the episode I was looking for, like, from Kyle's perspective.
If you had to, just a simple yes or no, do you think Kyle's going to get a black jacket?
Yes.
You do? Okay, interesting. Cool. And And so, Ruby, let's also talk about a very interesting. We kind of hinted this last week, I believe, in the previews, but a very interesting scene to start with Egypt and Wit. A lot of people have been possibly thinking about that would be quite the final two if it were to happen. Did you think that was indeed foreshadowing for a final two, Ruby?
You mean the one of the early scenes in the episode where the two of them were talking, correct?
Yeah, just talking. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see that as a foreshadow for the final. I personally have my 6 black jacket picks. I think both Wit and Egypt are on there. Actually, it's just that I'm sorry if I'm offending Egypt here. I just don't think you're making the final two. And Wit maybe, but I think that tonight's episode, we see her in a bit of conflict with, I don't mean to jump too far ahead in the episode, but we see her in a bit of conflict. So I guess I'm worried a bit about her. I think Brandon's prospects are pretty good though.
Okay.
But we'll see. I think it's but Amanda went up a bit though. It was really weird because Amanda was somebody who was getting, in my opinion, like next to no edit until like the top 12. And then, now all of a sudden we get this whole arc of she gets 4 out of 4 on the signature on the blind taste test. I believe it was her. And I think they said that some other thing about Amanda being like some strong force in a certain way. And I'm like, are they trying to give her a black jacket edit here? But I still don't think it's enough yet. I still think she's in trouble.
Yeah. It was a very interesting episode because I think we were all, us in the chat was kind of in agreement. Okay, it's definitely Brittany, Amanda, and Anne-Marie as kind of the weak links who's probably going to go on this episode. And that's literally the case. It was literally up in the air all episode, at least for me, who was going to be. Oh, Michael, real quick, Drew said, or not Drew, Mateus Butts from last season said they asked, when you got eliminated, they asked for a final 2 prediction. Did they ask you for a final 2 prediction when you were eliminated?
No, they did not.
Okay. Well, with that said, when you did leave, like, who were you kind of feeling as the favorites when you left?
In my eyes, when I left, I would guess it was probably Brandon and honestly Egypt. His heart was in it,
They remember when I asked Mateus the same question about, and I think somebody told me. Actually, I take that back. I think it was like somebody in the, like Megan or someone else in the comments, like, "Oh, can you tell me what they asked you for your top 2 and or what your answer was?" And it's like, "Oh, contract reasons, I might not answer that."
So Egypt, well, before that, we had our 23rd annual blind taste test. So Egypt, what were you? I know you kind of had a confessional saying how important this was to you, and obviously now I really get it now as a big fan of the show. So, how did you think you're going to do going into it? Like, I know you're excited for it, but were you also nervous for it? And were you just kind of, what's it like? Because I can only imagine I would do bad at that with like the metal music going on. It's like, what was your whole take on the whole experience?
It's something that I've always wanted to do. I can't tell you how many times I've tried to do it, just at work or at home, just to see if I could do it. But actually being there and actually doing it and have that music on and not being able to see, and especially having that syrup already all over me, that the smell of the syrup alone kind of like you have to kind of weed through it. But not to take away from the fact that it's just way harder than it seems. I tasted the strawberry and I was like, sweet, a little bit of acidity. All right. Oh, has a little texture to it. And I was like, oh, that's definitely pineapple. And after I said it, I bit into a strawberry seed and I was like, oh.
Yeah, exactly. That's how it goes.
So it's hard. It's way harder than what it seems, honestly.
But that confessional right before the challenge started was, I think it reflected on your fandom of Hell's Kitchen. On a scale of 1 to 10, how excited were you for this challenge?
Oh, I was 12, easy.
Yeah, don't.
That's how you answer that question, Tiffany from season 10.
Yeah. So this was a very, the chat's giving the answers. I don't think I would do well at that at all. Again, it feels like it's getting so easy, but I could see, again, music playing, you're already kind of nervous, Chef Ramsay spoon, literally feeding you, just like you don't want to let him down. It's easy to overthink this. Oh yeah, but it was that was not the case for Amanda Ultra. What is that now? Is Amanda what, the 5th, 6th, 7th? I don't know. should have had my notes going before the blind taste test. But do you remember if this is like, Chad, if you can back me up on this, how many? She joins an illustrious group, that's for sure. You know,
I think there were more than you think. I think there's like at least 10 who got a perfect score.
I haven't actually been keeping track myself, so I don't know for sure, but that is impressive. Still all the same to get a perfect 4 out of 4. That's one of the big highlights of the challenge. And again, another big highlight that for me, as far as ones that people got wrong, was Joe, the resident Italian, you know, the guy who literally helped me pass the challenge a little while ago, not getting tomatoes. I'm sorry, that's a cardinal sin. Just, I don't know how you don't get something like that when you boast your heritage quite like that. I'm not nothing against his heritage. I'm just saying it's one of those things where I'm like, how can you not get that? The taste is so distinct. I love tomatoes myself.
You would think that. You honestly would think that. Sorry for interrupting. You would honestly think that, like, oh, it's tomatoes. Anytime you taste tomato, you know what it is. No. I wish it was that easy. After going through it now, I wish it was that easy. But I'm telling you, put some loud music on, cover your blindfolds, and have somebody do it to you. You'll be like, oh, thought it was cucumber.
You're probably right.
I think the only things that people can shove in my mouth with loud metal music and blindfolds are McDonald's French fries, chocolate ice cream, maybe a chocolate chip cookie, some other dessert.
Well, I will say, we have Amanda and also
fat fuck.
And also, Hannah also did well. Another great episode for Hannah. Again, what's going on, Hannah? Also saying hi to Egypt and Michael. Another great episode for Hannah. She seems to definitely be a frontrunner. I was kind of like iffy on her to start. You know, she kind of made a mistake here and there, so I wasn't sure. She seems to really, really be finding her stretch at this end game here. Egypt. So yeah, I always ask this. What was your take on the red team? Like, did anyone stand out for you? You know, early on or like in the mid portion of the competition? You know, were you able to get a vibe with the red team at all?
Actually, you know, obviously it goes without saying, I was kind of alienated for a majority of the beginning of the competition. Partly by choice, partly by I just don't really care, to be honest. I can never be anybody else but me. And I've said that there. I say it here. I'll say it on social media. I can only ever be me. And you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. But nobody will ever look at me and call me a liar. So out the gate, though, Hannah was actually somebody that I had my eye on from day one, just based off her signature dish alone, it was something that I was like, that's something like I would do. So if she thought of it and I thought of it, then that's definitely somebody I should keep my eye on. Not to mention she's also a country club chef like I am. So we do the exact same parties every year. We do the exact same numbers. We handle the exact same, you know, foot traffic through our venues, our respective venues. So she was.
Just to clarify, you say same venue, same parties. Like, you mean in the same area?
So she actually is a chef at a country club down here in South Florida, and I'm also a chef at a country club down here in South Florida. We're actually a couple of minutes away from each other.
Oh, that's cool. Hannah said you thought it was silly.
That's, to be fair, all Egypt said was that it's something that he would do too. So that doesn't necessarily negate what she said there. Maybe he would cook a little silly himself. I don't know.
So, but yeah. So, but that's, yeah, she was definitely one of the main people. And then after, obviously, that farmer's punishment, I actually got really close to the entire red team, to be honest. They all opened up to me and vice versa, I guess you could say. So they were all actually pretty chill.
I feel like the farmer punishment, like the edit there didn't, I mean, I 100% believe you, but I feel like the edit there didn't really reflect that. It felt like there's this bonding moment between the red team, and I just saw poor Egypt just like standing there by himself, confused as for what's going on socially.
No, that, like you said, it's the edit. It was a real punishment. We were there for hours on end. So it's no wonder that they squeeze in what they squeeze into the show. But yeah, no, the entire time on the punishment, you know, I was looking at it as more as a reward because that was a win for me technically, and for the team. So while I was there, I wasn't trying to be miserable or shitty. I was just like, yo, this is actually really epic. Seeing the Farmland, talking to Farmer Bailey and Farmer Quinn, they are freaking epic, to be honest. And the red team's cool. They're chill. We laughed and joked the entire time there. It was awesome.
I noticed you used the word shitty.
real quick, Ruby. So Egypt, I know it's a so we could probably talk all day about your run between your rivalry with Brandon, almost winning the league, almost going home. You've had quite the up and down. So overall, we can say that for another day because it's gonna be a long podcast regardless. So just overall, like, just kind of give how would you overall feel about your edit so far? Like, and not only that, but the fan reception. Is it mostly positive, mostly negative, somewhere in between? Just kind of give us one big answer to.
One big answer. It's split down the middle. I have half the people that are behind me, half the people who are throwing stones at me. I mean, like I said, regardless of anything, it doesn't really matter to me. I don't mind the way I'm being portrayed on the show. Like I said, I am me. I'm unapologetically me. And if you don't like what you see, then I can't do anything about that. All I can do is hope that maybe you'll change it one day. But that's honestly that's the whole of it, to be honest.
Sweet, and that's a good way to go about it too, for sure.
All right, say something.
Yeah, sure.
One, that is actually a really good positive way to look at it, in my opinion, Egypt. And yeah, I've been a little bit up and down as far as what I thought about you all season 2. Like, I've never had anything outright negative to say about you, but I feel like my perception maybe of like where you'd stand on like a winner ranking has been fluctuating quite a bit. It's been a massive upward trajectory as of late, though, so there is that. And yeah, I feel at this point in the season, if I had to solidify without ever changing again who my picks for Final 2 would be, it would actually be you and then Hannah. I just think that Hannah has been like the most consistent and strong overall, and you have had probably one of the greatest bounce backs ever since that one episode where you requested to leave the competition and then Gordon Ramsay gave you a pep talk after, which was awesome.
Yeah, I wanted to bring that up.
You've just been like slaying it ever since then, and I think you should be very proud of yourself on that front.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. Like I said, you definitely have one of the more interesting runs, not just this season, but Hell's Kitchen history. Ruby, real quick, do you guys something to say before we go on?
Yeah, I'm just curious, Egypt, and this isn't a knock against you. This is just more of I'm curious as for what you think had happened behind the scenes. So Shant has an injury; he has to go. Uri has his health problems too, and he decides to leave. And then you and Joe have the heart to heart about family, and you want to quit. You have that moment where you want to quit. What do you think happened so that Ramsay and you talked backstage and you guys had a pep talk? I'm curious as to the behind the scenes behind that.
That whole, I'll keep it short and simple just because it's a lot. Honestly, that whole thing, so a lot of people, I've been getting mixed signals about it because they all messaged me and they're like, oh, you're crying about the way your team is treating you and all this other stuff. And it's funny because even with the stuff they didn't put in the show, I never once say anything about the way the team is treating me because I honestly didn't care. Like, it's weird for me as a father, and maybe you guys have kids, maybe you don't. That was most of the cast's biggest problem with me trying to leave, is that none of them had kids except for me and Joe. So none of them could relate. And that's why me and Joe end up connecting over that, because he saw it on my face the moment I stepped outside. And it was me wanting to be back by my kids because I've never had to be away from them with no contact. Yeah. Like that was the biggest thing. And then him talking to me, honestly, it was, I want to say like at least like a 8-minute conversation that they shoved down to like 30 seconds. And he told me like, no, he gets it. Like, I'm not gonna go into detail, but he legit, same level, same height, human to human, man to man, father to father. He talked to me, and I told him like, it has nothing to do with the team. I don't care about what the team thinks. I'm not here to be everybody's best friend. I'm here to show you I can cook.
Yeah,
nothing else has anything to do with it, and that's really all it was.
Yeah, just for the record, I would have asked Hannah the same question if she was here, not you. Like, just pointing that out.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's crazy. All right, cool. So so let's go over these scores real quick. So yeah, the red team did really well. Amanda, 4 out of 4. So I think someone said that only 6 person ever did that. That's crazy. Brandon did the best on the blue team, 2 out of 4. Joe, 1 out of 4. Anne Marie, 0 out of 4. Kyle also 0 out of 4. Hannah, 3 out of 4. And Whit, 2 out of 4. Egypt, 0 out of 4. How'd you feel after that, Egypt, after getting a 0 out of 4? Did you feel like that kind of like, obviously I'm sure you felt bad about it, but you also like feel like, oh crap, that could really hurt my winner chances?
No, not at all. The blind taste test is just that, the blind taste test to test your palate. And it's, regardless of me getting a score or not on it, it was still something that I've been waiting my entire life to do. And even if I didn't score a score, that's insane. That just means that I need to I want to practice more and score more. My apologies. I just want to practice. I want to practice my ability to taste more. That's honestly all I took away from it. It was still an epic experience doing it. I wouldn't change it.
I think one thing I like about you, Egypt, is no matter what brings you down on Hell's Kitchen, no matter which teammate hates you, you just, like you said, you don't care. You just want to make it to the end and have fun with it, you know?
That's it, honestly.
Yeah, that's all you can do on a show like Hell's Kitchen, for God's sakes. All right, cool. So speaking of Joe, kind of a good segue. A Gumball. I know Joe was number 2 in your power rankings, correct? In this last one you did.
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah, so very interesting for him. Again, he had his moment, like Ichi was talking about. He was really missing his family. So, 2 questions. Did you think he was gonna maybe not quit, but think another because it doesn't seem like he contemplated quitting. Like he just kind of had a moment. Did you think he was gonna also be like the 5th or 6th person to contemplate quitting this season? And to follow up that question, in general, how did you feel about this episode for Joe? Because he got his moment and had a good service. So, I imagine that he went up in your rankings. Yes, no.
I'm still kind of conflicted about it, if I'm being honest, because it did feel kind of random, came out of nowhere. It did manifest a little bit in the service, but not that much. And plus, we've already gotten content about Joe and his family before. I will say it is probably more of a consistent through line at this point, considering that it has kind of come up yet again. Though I need to think about it more, whether it'll change his ranking on the power ranking moving forward.
And Michael, before we get into the service, so just overall, what was your, I know you said you got along with Egypt. Anyone else any other comments you have about the blue team, whether you got along with them or just something you want to share, or just in general, anything you want to share about your time on the show?
I mean, yeah, I think blue team, we all got along really well, especially at first. We all kind of had the same goal in mind of, like Egypt said, I don't care how you feel about me. We're here to get a job done, and we're going to get it done. And it kept us. We didn't really know a lot of the red team at first, and then going forward from there, slowly but surely, as numbers dwindled down up until I was no longer on the show, we started to get to know the red team a little bit more, which was nice. That it kind of became more, I guess, homey, if you will, at the in the dorms, where we, we're getting along as competitors together.
Cool. Yeah. All right. Cool. So that sounds all good. Yeah. It's a lot of interesting comments about Joe. Yeah. Joe's been kind of surprising me. I still just can't see how he wins. He's just, hasn't, just feel like a winner at it to me, but he's not making mistakes whatsoever. So I'm very interested to see if he's one of those. He could be like an Anthony-esque, in my opinion, where he just gets eliminated after one mistake in the in the Cook for Your Life Challenge, Black Jacket Lounge. Or maybe, like I said, maybe he's a dark horse pick. I know that's what Internal Possum is saying. Maybe a dark horse pick to win, or maybe final 2. So I'm very interested to see how Joe does. And once again, yet another good episode for him. And was also a good reward. Did that reward make anyone else hungry? I'm a huge cake guy, so that was freaking amazing. Hilarious. The beef Wellington cakes.
I was binging on Palo ice cream, regrettably, but no joke, that's what I was doing. So I wasn't feeling tempted at that moment. I was already satiating it.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, so let's kind of get into service. So it seems like Egypt for the blue team, not only did you kill it, but the blue team probably had their best service of the season, it seems, other than Kyle being a little bit slow. Egypt, is that pretty much what it was, a perfect service for you guys, or did the edit kind of hide a little bit, or how was the service for y'all?
For the most part, the service was actually actually pretty clean service. Actually, all 4 of us agreed at the end of it, the kitchen is so much nicer to navigate with just 4 chefs on each, one on each station. They actually edited pretty, canon to the actual service. Minus all the takeouts of just us randomly talking to each other about orders. But yeah, no, it was a pretty good canon show.
Cool. And back to Michael. Just in general, Michael, what was it like cooking in Hell's Kitchen? Egypt kind of said it was maybe could be even a little bit easier with one person station. Was it how was the chaoticness of it all? I forgot what station got eliminated on, but just in general, what was like cooking in Hell's Kitchen?
So I'll start. I got eliminated on Fish Station. I will say, with that many people in that small of a line, it is difficult. So to tag team on Egypt's there, like, less people would have made it easier for sure. But it was definitely, some stations were easier, some were harder, depending on who you were working with at the end of the day as well. Like, we're all people that don't know each other, and we're trying to get to know how everyone works on a station and work from there. So I think we all had our days, we all had our off days.
Yeah, it's interesting you guys both say that. I never really thought of it like that because, Ramsay himself says, hey, everyone would just say, hey, you're one person, there's nowhere to hide. But I guess if you're not, you guys aren't really used to like working with that many people on a line, right? So in some ways it could be harder with more people. So I never really thought like that. But
not necessarily. It's more of I think I speak for all of us who competed on there. It's being in a new kitchen, regardless of how most people take about 2 weeks to adapt to a new kitchen.
Right.
And that's getting comfortable where everything is at, understanding the flow of service, understanding the menu, what call times, all that good stuff. It doesn't come with a snap of a finger in somebody else's kitchen. And that's what plays into having so many extra bodies in the kitchen, where now I'm not worried about tripping over my own feet, but now I'm worried about tripping over everybody else's feet while they're also worried about the same thing.
And also, we didn't have many season 23 guys on our podcast, just Brandon so far. And let's just hear it directly from the horse's mouth. What were your thoughts on Lulu changing teams? Because today's episode, like Cal, had some harsh words about Lulu's exit.
I guess I'll go right out with it. I was not the biggest fan of Lulu, only because I got kicked off on the station with her. And I felt a little, like I was trying to take over the station. It wasn't working, and that's on me at the end of the day. But, it was maybe not my favorite person to work with. I'll say
okay. Ooh, all righty. Egypt. Right.
Lulu, in terms of being a chef, she's amazing. Her creativity, her menu design, her development, she is a chef. She's a chef through and through. I think that she may have thought of herself a better leader. She was an amazing talker. If she got first word in on a conversation, then Lulu controls that conversation, and everybody will get swept away in what Lulu is saying. And that's honestly just all I can really say about her. She has painted herself. I've watched the podcast with her coming on here. I thought it was very interesting with what she chose to say, and saying that she had a talk with me and everything. She just followed me outside, asked me if she could sit down. I said yes. And then she took it upon herself to say, well, Egypt, you don't have to listen to me, but I'm just going to tell you what you're doing wrong. And then she started telling me what my deal was. And she said, well, your deal is because in your past, you never da-da-da-da-da-da. And I was like, yeah, sure. She was like, yeah, see? So if you just listen to me and I was like, yeah. And then
sounds good.
A little bit too
patted herself on the back.
As far as
Patted herself on the back
no
for a job well done.
Okay, just
and then walked inside the dorms.
Yo, Ray Waddle, I completely agree with you. I was thinking about how Lulu and Hassan had similar trajectories when I was watching this episode.
Oh man, yeah, I love when that's very interesting when you guys that was interesting for sure. The very opposing views. All right, that's the cool thing. Like I said, that's always a cool thing about having chefs on this podcast. It's one thing to have a past chef to talk about it, but he in the moments get to talk about your past season just ended. That's very interesting. All right, cool. I'm glad you asked that question, Ruby. I wasn't expecting that. All right, cool. So Ultra, let's say finish off the blue team again. Kind of go back to you. Kind of finish off with Kyle, since again he was what overall thoughts on Kyle this episode? Again, it wasn't great for him, but in general, do you have any other notes about the blue team Ultra for this episode?
Yeah, I guess the closest that we saw the weaknesses at all for that service were from Joe and Kyle, respectively. But even then, nothing particularly major. I feel like, given what we saw from the red team as well, it made perfect sense why the blue team won over the red team. The red team was a lot more inconsistent and had more people messing up, like on a more definitive level, no less. So, yeah, I think the blue team earned their win. Again, major props to Egypt. And yeah, again, everybody there is a good cook, but you gotta go by how service by service, like who's doing the best and who's doing the worst. And the red team just dropped the ball on this service.
Yeah, so let's kind of get into it. Like I said at the beginning of the podcast, and we said last week, it definitely seems like it was a battle between Brittany, Amanda, and Anne-Marie about who was going to go home this episode. And yeah, like I said, pretty much throughout service, it seemed like no one really did that bad, but like obviously none of them really shined either to save themselves. As Brittany kind of messed up before service, and Amanda had quite the breakout episode, not in the best of ways. She did survive, but she was pissed off about that, even wasn't communicating that at a certain point. And then Anne-Marie also was getting pissed at Amanda. She had her angriest moment too. So it seems like people are getting heated on the red team as the competition goes down. She had a mistake with the beef Wellington, I believe. So yeah, again, it wasn't an awful service for either one, but just kind of for all of them. So Gumball, what was your take on the service for the red team?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was pretty apparent that the red team was probably going to have the boot from this episode. I feel like the blue team had a much cleaner service. Yeah, like it didn't seem like a terrible service, like not to where they were going to get kicked out, but I feel like there were some pretty clear outliers here. Like you said, Brittany and Amanda seemed to not do the best here. Anne-Marie was another person who made several mistakes. And yeah, it just made it pretty clear that one of them was probably going home, and it was just a question of which one.
Yeah, so let's kind of talk about that. So once the red team lost Ruby, and chat, that goes for you. Who were you thinking was going to be the nominees out of the three?
I felt like Amanda was socially in a position of control, so I felt like it was going to be Anne-Marie and Brittany, the nominees. But yeah, between the two, when Gordon Ramsay asked the question to the red team, who would you be better off without? At that point, honestly, I understood the episode's vibe of like putting it more towards Brittany's direction, and Brittany would be the answer. At the same time, if you look at the nomination history and the nomination records, Anne-Marie's track record, I think was slightly worse. So I was telling them, I just guessed. I panicked. It was 50-50, and I was like, fuck it, I'll guess Anne-Marie. And I guessed wrong. Okay. Yeah. I'll own up to it. But yeah, but I will say that I feel like Anne-Marie, her performance tonight was about as disastrous as her little Anne-Marie's bull cut. You know what I mean? Like,
so yeah, Ultra, we kind of talked about this before when Ramsay asked for the teams for the nominations. This one's kind of interesting because do you agree with me? I generally think that Ramsay was kind of like literally torn, and he literally just did not really know who to choose. Like, do you think he was going to choose Brittany regardless, even had they said Anne-Marie, or do you think he literally just left up for the red team to decide here?
Well, Scruffy does have a point there.
Yeah, honestly.
I think that he does sometimes take that into account. Not necessarily always. I've seen times where he would ask teams like who should go home, and that in no way actually plays a part in any of it. Like, I've seen it happen to Elise like 3 times, and spoilers, never happened once for her. So
yeah, well, that was season 9, I think.
Yeah,
and 17. It happened once in season 17.
True.
So like somehow, like, she really is a cat with 9 lives. I have seen it happen though with, say, Kaylin from season 13. So like it can kind of be a half and half thing maybe for that. I do get what they were coming from though, because I think between Anne-Marie and Brittany, Anne-Marie did at least have a stronger level of communication throughout service, and I would tip the scales in their favor regarding that. If I had to mention something I'm surprised by, and I probably am a broken record when I say this, I'm still surprised Amanda didn't get nominated. And I think what should have happened here, what I was thinking would happen here as well, was that Gordon Ramsay would call Amanda down herself as a third nominee.
That's what I mean himself
in a while. If she doesn't go home still, that is what it is. But like, I feel like that should still happen, because when you clam up in the middle of a service like that, that's just in general not a good look. If anybody saw my top 10 worst station parties in Hell's Kitchen video. If you clam up on a station, either by accident or on purpose, I really don't care, you are hurting your team. Don't do it.
Just curious, do you think that your top 10 list got affected by tonight?
Well, no, because those chefs were mostly on separate stations. That wouldn't work. That really wouldn't work.
Yeah, my bad.
So yeah, I mean, so Gumball, before we talk about the official elimination, Gumball, again, this is a very, very interesting for Amanda. And like you said, it's kind of crazy she hasn't been nominated yet, because the week edit, but like when she does get an edit, like she's kind of portrayed in a negative light. So you'd think she'd be nominated. Like, and in this episode alone, she got a freaking 4 out of 4, a very prestigious class, but also freaking got really angry a couple of times, wasn't communicating during service, then probably had the angriest moment of the season thus far with her just going off on Brittany. But yeah, it wasn't nominated and still has been nominated all season. So like, what's your overall take on Amanda after this episode? A very, very odd episode for her, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I think Amanda kind of still surprises me to a degree. I mean, admittedly, I don't think my overall view of her chances have changed. I feel like they're probably going to remain around the same power ranking wise. However, like you said, like it is interesting seeing this dichotomy here where it's like on one hand, like we are getting a lot of focus on her when she's like making mistakes or otherwise not getting the greatest look in the world, as we saw in this service. But then she goes 4 for 4 in the blind taste test. And, like even with her like mishap on the fish station, like it was more so Brittany's fault because Brittany screwed up the prep. So it is sort of interesting how even though like Amanda hasn't really been getting a lot propping up in the edit, it does seem like from a pure cooking standpoint, she's not entirely bad. And there's definitely merit to her still being there and still having gone the whole season without being put up to this point.
Yeah, just been a very interesting edit for her and just an interesting round. I'm very interested to see, again, it could be one of those people, it could be a dark horse. And that's why, or could go home next week for all we know.
But I honestly hope that that we get Amanda on this podcast at some point because I have a lot of questions for her regarding her edit because I'm starting to think that maybe I'm starting to believe that Amanda just socially was doing really well, like with her teammates, compared to say Megan and Anne-Marie and Brittany.
Yeah, that would be interesting for sure. But yeah, speaking of Brittany, so it was between Anne-Marie and Brittany, and Anne-Marie survives yet again. And we say goodbye to the Alaskan herself, Brittany. So I'll start with our Michael. Do you have anything to say about Brittany to start?
Oh, I mean, I was a big fan of Brittany. She's got a lot of experience. She's done a lot of things in her life. And she's just a very charismatic person that has, a lot of different life experiences to show. And it's very cool that, at the age that she's at, the amount of different things she's done. It's definitely quite impressive and very interesting.
And Egypt, same for you. What was your time on the show with Brittany? What do you have to say about her?
I actually met Brittany day one. We were on those military boats coming into the little showdown thing, and we talked a lot. She was one of the first people that I talked to. She was actually really cool. At the beginning of the competition, throughout the competition, up until tonight, she was really cool. We talked a lot there, actually. Again, they don't show. But we actually talked a lot of times outside. Very creative. Like Michael said, she has gone down so many avenues in her life that she is so spoiled for what she wants to do if she wants to do anything with her life. Very amazing chef, very creative. And yeah, she is somebody that I will never forget. Her personality alone makes her somebody very unique that I've come across in my life.
I was just going to say, someone made a comment how fun. She was definitely fun for us to have on stream, that's for sure. So definitely sad she couldn't make it a bit farther. Ruby, overall thoughts on Brittany this season? I know you said you predicted 10, so you're only one off.
Oh, yeah. I feel like as a chef, she was... I feel like with the women on the season, a lot of it just boils down to who's getting along with who sometimes. I feel like that plays a factor in a lot of nomination decisions. And I think once again, Brittany was another one of those scenarios. And I know that Anne-Marie was the target of Brandon was it last week or the week before? Excuse me, last episode or the episode before. But I just feel like when it comes to like this group of women, which one was the one who was like the quirkiest and maybe like she was well liked, but at the same time, potentially an outcast out of the 5 if there had to be one. Brittany. I think that made the most sense, unfortunately, for Brittany. And when she made a few glaring mistakes tonight and needed her hand to be held, I think that was it.
Mm-hmm. Ultra Gumball, do you have any else to add when it comes to Brittany? Whether edit wise or just anything?
Do you want to go first for me or?
Yeah, I guess you can go.
Yeah. Okay. Again, met Brittany on the podcast here. She's obviously a very delightful person. Again, respectfully, Kyle pulled the outfit off a little better than she did. Like it looked fine. He made it looked amazing. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, like as a chef from what we saw in the edit, again, very fun personality. Had a lot of good, inspiring things about her, especially in the premiere when she caught herself and yet still managed to pull one out for that first dish. Again, that is really cool. If I'm gonna be perfectly honest about how I felt she'd do based on her edit, I kind of didn't think she'd. I'm honestly kind of surprised she made it to the top half of the competition, because by the edit, I was half expecting she'd make it to like 12th, 11th place ish, because she seemed like somebody who would probably just make more noticeable mistakes early on. I'm not sure what gave me that vibe necessarily. And it was wrong, obviously, and good for her on making it past that point. It was just, maybe it's the fact that she's a little more out of the box as far as like her cooking style and her personality. I love that about her. It's just not a personality that often translates to winning the show. That's just kind of all I have to go off of.
Right. Yo, we got a $5 donation from ARP. Part 2 of Hell's Kitchen theme contestants who went to culinary school graduate chefs versus on-job training chefs. That was out of all the themes that fans have thought of. That's certainly one of them. That would be interesting.
Yeah, I thought of as far as Brittany is concerned, I like her a lot, and when I did the podcast with her,
thank you so much.
I felt she had this personality that was very amicable, and I thought she was very, very kind. But yeah, like she always like gave, like when I was watching her, like I have to admit, she gave me that impression. Like at the beginning of the season, I used the word cringy at the beginning of the season, and I think I've evolved from that. But like she gave me that vibe where it's like she seems like the kind of woman where if she takes she has like one margarita, all of a sudden she's gonna laugh obnoxiously and like ha ha ha, like that's the vibe I got from Brittany, and it was And I know it sounds like I'm insulting her, but I actually like that about her. You know what I mean?
No, I think we can all agree. It's the same way. She didn't go home too early, but definitely, I think definitely what we saw on the podcast from her, she could have been a really, really big character this season. Just unfortunately, I guess with a kind of an odd 9th place finish, can't give too much of an edit, but it is what it is. But yeah, good addition to the season, and but we are down to the final 8. That is crazy.
What about Gumball?
Well, Gumball, do you want to give your prediction or not predictions, thoughts on Brittany, or save that for your power rankings next week?
I mean, I don't really have too much to add. Like, I felt like it was probably her time to go. I mean, and I felt like this episode gave us enough of a reason to take her out in this spot. So, again, like I share a lot of the sentiments that Ruby and Ultra have, as well as Michael and Egypt. But yeah, I think it just made sense for it to be her time.
Yeah, guys. So as we end, that's pretty much the episode. We'll talk about next week. But yeah, guys, if you have questions for Egypt and Michael, please ask them away. And we'll also keep in mind, stay tuned, as Ruby will be revealing the 26 chefs eliminated from his competition as we get to the top 100. Ask questions away. But before we get into the questions, well, I guess we see questions now, so I might as well do it before I forget about them. Egypt, favorite chef. I don't know if he means means this season or all time. But yeah, what do you?
Do both.
Both, yeah. I don't know, yeah.
Honestly, Brock has to be my favorite Hell's Kitchen winner of all time.
Oh, okay.
And then on my season, I'd say Hannah.
Okay, and Michael, do you have a favorite chef of all time? And
Michael, do you feel insulted that he didn't pick you?
Yeah, I'm a little hurt. But favorite chef of all time, like on the show? Yeah. Let's go with Alex Ballou. I've been following him since then. He's a great guy. And then on our season, I'm gonna go with Joe.
Okay.
What was your first season again, Michael?
What was that? I'm sorry.
What was your first season again?
My first
The
season.
first season that you watched from Hell's Kitchen.
Yeah, sorry.
So I watched from 19.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Okay. And so, with that said, and it goes both of you, Mike. I'll start with you, Michael, this time. What is your favorite season of the ones you watched?
I would say I honestly have to go with 21 just because that was one of my friends was on the show who was fun to watch and watch him do well.
And Egypt, be careful with this answer. Remember, we got a bunch of Hell's Kitchen fans watching. What is your favorite season of all time?
Actually, just because I'm a little biased and kind of akin to what Michael said, Chef Ryan O'Sullivan, winner of season 22, he's my coworker. We've worked together for the last 3.5 years.
Oh, whoa.
And
wow.
I love
World.
Yeah, we worked together.
Yeah, ever since season 19, it's been a bunch of small world. You know, like.
Yeah, coincidence? Yeah. No, that's a great season for sure, yeah.
I think what goes on is that, like, you know, Ryan and Egypt, for example, here Ryan and Egypt are connected, and I think the producers might look at Ryan and it's like, oh, let's give Egypt a call. He seems interesting.
Actually, no connection.
No
That
connection.
is amazing.
They didn't know. They had no idea that we worked at the same place.
Okay.
They had no idea that we were coworkers. They didn't find out until I was already there, like before they started filming. And then they were like, wait a minute, this looks familiar. And I was like, yeah.
That's funny. Go figure. What is your, Egypt, we'll start with you. What is your favorite moment in Hell's Kitchen history?
Oof.
Yeah, a lot of them to choose from.
Oh, man, that's a hard one. Holy crap.
You can think about it. Michael, why he's thinking. Do you have one, Michael?
It's also a tough.
Oh, man, yeah. Not a good moment.
I would say, personally, just because I was there, was the day we started filming. That was my favorite moment.
That's true.
Was like, you know, like
that's just a cheat answer, but it's
there was no better feeling than that. Just like, all right, we're doing this. We're here.
For sure. Nice. Cool. Let's look for any other questions. Grant, all right, cool. So let's say while I wait for other questions, let's give some predictions for next week. Because I thought today, I can't remember why I thought this, but I know the edit for, the preview for this episode made it seem like it was going to be a charity night, but that was not the case. So next week will definitely be the charity night. Of course, a massive service for this final 8. So I'll start with you, Gumball, as a little spoiler for next week. Who are you feeling is going to be? Who do you feel like is going to? And chat, this goes for you as well. Who's going home next week after this charity night performance?
And I feel like I keep getting these wrong, but I don't know. I'm just looking more and more at the people who I feel like are going to make the Black Jackets and the people who are going to come up short. I think Amanda or Anne-Marie are probably one of the next to go, if I had to guess. But knowing me, I'm probably going to be wrong on that.
Ruby, same question.
I agree with Gumball. I'm 90% sure it's Anne-Marie or Amanda. However, I said this last episode. I'm not going to say last week. I believe it's going to be Amanda because I remember there were flashes earlier in like a few episodes in the past where her leadership came into question regarding control of the station. And next week is the final 8, and every final 8 is the charity service where leadership and control over a course comes into question, and I think that's where Amanda's going to be in trouble.
So, Ultra, double question for you. Who do you think's going home? And also, do you think, because it could have been the edit playing with us, but man, it seems like, Anne-Marie might get a little smartass with Ramsay next week to where Ramsay has something to say to her about that. So do you think we are going to see whether she goes home or not? Do you think we're going to see a bit of an altercation between Anne-Marie and Ramsay next week?
Obviously, like the idea of piggybacking off of Gumball and Ruby feels a little cliche, but I mean, I can't act like I disagree. If I had to pick anybody else who might go home aside from them,
Kyle, like that's the only other one.
Honestly, I was thinking Joe maybe. I don't know. Like I could see
that. Yeah, he's just
like I'm not entirely sure what vibe I'm getting that makes me think that, but I just don't see it being Egypt. I think Brandon would handle his course just fine. It might be between Kyle and Joe, but I could maybe see Joe getting a little bit in over his head. Again, it's not as likely as Amanda or Anne-Marie, and between the two of them, if I had to pick who would be the better leader, Anne-Marie without question. Just because we saw her actually like calling times throughout the service, whereas Amanda, again, shut down. That gives me personally a lot less confidence in her as a leader. Again, I can't judge her as a person or even as a chef outside the competition. I'm only going off of what the edit shows me, but the edit showing her like not talking when people are asking her like how her station's doing and whatnot, it's just a bad idea.
Yeah, all the more reason I'm backing the Amanda's going home horse.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Yeah, I mean, it feels like we said throughout the episode, like those three have kind of been on the bottom. So it will be interesting to see if one of those, well, obviously one of them are going to make it, but if both of them can make it to the Black Jacket Lounge episode,
Because
someone from the blue team that goes home.
Because Cal had a couple of rough episodes, but like,
yeah, it could
they
be
weren't. They weren't leadership based mistakes, as far as I saw.
And that's the thing about next week, the charity night service, and because again, you can be like a great chef all season, and then you have a bad leadership performance, and you can go home. So each have a couple questions for. I know Grant's been wanting to ask you this. So he was like, "Yeah, why are we so confident at the beginning of the season?" There, I finally answered for you, Grant. So yeah, why don't you answer for him?
So it's funny. So I saw the original way you worded that in terms of why I was like so cocky in the beginning. So again, that's a matter of perspective. So when I go into that kitchen, I didn't go there with the intentions of, oh, I'm gonna make best friends and I'm gonna find my partner. And that I went in there with the intentions of, I don't care about my skin color, I don't care about who's in front of me. I'm there to cook and to do what I do every single day. And this is how I run my brigade. And I was under the assumption that most exec chefs or chefs that run a brigade do have loud voices, because the multiple kitchens I visited and I've trained in, I've seen loud voice chefs, and not loud voice in terms of insulting, of trying to make undermine somebody or yell at them or make them look stupid, but just having a loud voice. Because in a real kitchen, if you've never worked in one, it's loud. The dish pit's going, the ovens are going, timers are going, ticket machines are going, voices are going. You have to be that voice that stands above all of it, that your guys and your girls in the kitchen know, all right, when I hear that ring and chef voice, he's looking for this, and he wants it in this way, shape, and form. And that's why he hired us. He hired us to do the job. He knows we can do the job. And so this is what we expect. When we hear him call for it, that's what we need. And my bringing up in the kitchen was exactly that. And so it was my assumption that all the chefs there at some point in time have gone through a brigade system like that or something like that, to be honest. It had nothing to do with cockiness. I didn't think I was better than anybody there because I didn't know anybody there, just like they didn't know me. But the difference was I feel like a lot of them expected me to be open with them just like they were open with everybody else, which is not a bad thing. That's just not why I went there. I didn't want to sit around the table on the first night and learn about where everybody's from. I wanted to go outside and start looking over my menu, because that's what I would do if I was going for a job application, if I was going for a job interview. I wouldn't call my friends up and say, hey, come sit around the table and talk to me while I look over this menu, while I take over this restaurant. We aren't cooks. We're head chefs and sous chefs. We command $1 million brigades and $1 million industries. There's a level that comes with it, and there's a level of acting that comes with it. And so if it wasn't taken as cockiness, I'm sorry for rambling. If it was taken for cockiness,
I like it.
But I said it since day one. It had nothing to do with cockiness. It has everything to do with I'm confident in my ability and what I do. And if you take it the other way, then I can't change anything about that. But if you take it the way I'm telling you what it is, because you never have to search for hints with what I'm saying. I tell you exactly what it is. So you can dig through it and say, oh, well, he was cocky because he thought he was better. But that never left my mouth, because that's not what I was thinking. I was thinking I'm here to cook, and the only way to shut anybody up on that competition is to cook and be the best chef there, not to get in your feelings and make friends.
Okay, Egypt, you're hired. You're hired.
If I could
That's why we.
Sorry, that was a lot. My apologies. I'm sorry.
That's why we have him on because you would never get a response like that from someone who was like in a past season. We only get a response for that who's on the current season. He wants to get it off his chest. I appreciate that for sure.
If I could compare and contrast you actually with somebody that I want to say probably has similar mindset, but who came across a lot worse, it would be again Elise from 9-17.
Unfortunately, that's how I thought they were gonna paint me.
You are nowhere near as bad as Elise. Like I might enjoy watching Elise. I completely get what he would hate about her, and she actually is like full on cocky. I mean, confident too, yeah, but no, it doesn't. In fact, transition to cockiness. I don't think you quite got that bad, in my opinion. And the difference is that while both you and her do have loud voices in the kitchen, I think that you have a greater understanding of respect in the kitchen. Like I could see you making mistakes as far as
of course
we're all human at the end of the day. Like that happens, but all the same, like you do probably let other people talk as well, as long as they're communicating along with you. Whereas Elise won every bit of star power on herself, and she did not care one bit. She talked over Gordon Ramsay, every teammate of hers, and I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry, that's not. Not that I'm an expert. I'm running a kitchen. I can barely cook top ramen. But
yeah, every
but I feel as though that would not command respect quite as well. You are on a much better track with that.
I think the first 10 seasons, at least, every single one of those seasons, if I recall correctly, had that one contestant that the edit was just like, I came here to compete. I came here to win. I did not come here to make friends. And I have respect for that, but at the same time, it's funny to see, like, almost every season with you, it was like you're communicating to us that was your personality. However, the edit didn't show that. It showed a different aspect of your personality, and I find that interesting.
Because I also wasn't there to be unnecessarily rude. I didn't, the minor crap talking they do show me saying is honestly just that amount. I didn't go there to throw shade. I never were in confessions talking crap about anybody, or because I didn't go there. I also didn't go there to step on people for no reason.
Oh, no. I'm not trying to say that the people from the first 10 seasons, every one of them was a villain. I'm just saying that they, in their confessionals, said it, at least. If you said it ever in a confessional, it got cut. That's what I'm saying.
So let's finish off, guys. I got what TP Rose has one more question for each one. Then Ruby will give his list. So I'll start with you, Michael. Back to you. Opinions on Sous Chef James and Michelle.
So I didn't work super intently with Michelle, but seems like, obviously very talented chef. Let's start there. Very talented chef and very caring. She cared about her team a lot, and that was very evident. And you could absolutely tell day to day just seeing her work with them. Chef James, hard love kind of chef, also very talented, phenomenal chef. But at the end of the day, if you can't get it right, he expects more out of you and expects you to get it right. I think Egypt can attest to that as well.
Yeah,
that was really just kind of the way that he was. And I respect it. I love him for that.
Interesting. Yeah. Cause we always, as a fandom, we always kind of saw Sous Chef James as more of like a chill type of dude, but yeah, so that's interesting. He's kind of like, he's kind of like that. And Egypt, last question, because I'm kind of enjoying it. Because I never really got to talk to Brandon about this last week, so I guess we all kind of want to know, are you and Brandon's? Because obviously, it seems out of all the people who have stuff to say about you, it definitely seems edit-wise, and we talked about this with Brandon last week. He's had the most to say. Whether again that's just the edit playing Brandon up for some reason or not. So, what's your overall opinion on what Brandon's had to say about you? Are you guys friends in real life? Might as well spill the tea at this point.
Me and Brandon, we've never actually had any real beef on the show whatsoever. He was somebody that I made mention, again, as much as I stared at Hannah and was like checking her, I was checking Brandon as well, because he was part of my top 2 runners of who I feel like is going to be my biggest competition. But it was never any bad blood or anything like that, like outwardly towards me from him or vice versa. We were competitive against each other in terms of like in the challenges, like trying to show out and, get our dishes up there and everything. But that was just that. It was just in the challenges during that moment where we're going. But aside from that, no, Brandon's cool. He's an amazing, talented chef. I don't talk to him outside of the show at all. Anthony actually was my day one from there, and I talk to him almost every week, but that's it.
I mean, who doesn't talk to Anthony?
Yeah. But there you go, guys. Yeah, so even guys, so there you go. For all you're hating on Brandon, Egypt says himself, like it's just the edit making him out like that. Again, that's just what the edit can do to you. That's reality TV right there. Like that just sums up in like 30 seconds. So it is what it is. TV's got to have their villains and whatnot. It's got to make a storyline. So it is what it is. But yeah, guys. So anyone around the panel have any other last things to say about this episode? Like I'll just leave it up to open. Anyone?
I guess it is kind of cool seeing like another like actual argument breakout for Amanda versus Brittany in this case. Again, Amanda, I feel as though you've kind of not been speaking up at all. This of all times is when you do it. I don't feel like that's the best look. If you're gonna speak up, do it in the kitchen. But for the sake of television, I did enjoy seeing that.
All right, cool. Anyone else got anything to say before we get to Ruby's elimination game? Anyone at all? Okay, yeah. So I guess I guess my overall thoughts. Just pretty interesting episode. Yeah, it's kind of interesting to see who of the three who were kind of on the bottom would go home. Was Brittany? Stinks to see. But yeah, Ruby. Speaking of that, let's get on into this elimination game. Right, I'll share the link here in a second. But yeah, you're gonna be eliminating. Why don't you tell the chat how this is gonna work today?
Hold on, I'm just looking for. I don't know why I can't find him, but like, where is he? I'm looking for. Yeah. So, just to get it out of the way before y'all wonder where they are. Yes, unfortunately, Chef Egypt was eliminated in 256th place.
Oh my God! See, yeah, we forgot about that.
Oh, wait, excuse me, 216th place, and Michael was eliminated in 156. So, Michael, you beat Egypt here. And yeah, okay, I will not take too long.
That's just my
yeah. So let's get cracking. So last time I said we were gonna eliminate 26 chefs just to make it to 100 even round, whatever word you want to use.
100 boys, everyone.
Yeah. So let's get cracking, and this is gonna be a very interesting boot list. I find. I'm curious as to see all your reactions. So, first contestant eliminated is somebody from season 23. So these contestants were all eliminated with, I think. No, this person was eliminated with 9 votes. This was the only person eliminated with 9 votes. So somebody from season 23. Who do you guys think it is?
I don't remember who's
abstain because I think you already told me. So
yeah, Anne-Marie maybe.
It's Lulu.
Oh, Lulu.
Yeah, it's interesting because her vote score was -3, so that means she had a very good vote round. But I think this last episode just like sank her reputation with the public badly. Anyway, next up,
that came last week, so that really killed her. Yep.
Yeah, next we got people with 8 votes. First up is Chris Eversole from season 12. Then we've got the real villain. Then we've got Reddit's villain of season 20, Bryn.
Oh, yeah.
He's fine.
Yeah, I have to say that because the real villain of season 20 is coming up soon.
Anthony, join us in a second. What's going on, Anthony? You got your boys in there.
Yeah.
What's up, man?
Yeah, and then we finally got an all-star for the first time in a while. Amanda Palomino.
Love her.
Yeah, she looks so good.
Yeah. I'm looking. Ultra's gonna say something. Rachel.
Rest in peace.
There you go. And by the way, season 20 is gonna have a lot of reps. This is where when I said it's interesting, one of the things that's interesting is there's 6 boots from season 20 in this.
Oh man.
26. One of them is Kia Wilhelm. Oh yeah, and it's at Kia where we get to the people with 7 votes that were eliminated. Yeah, just to confirm that. Yeah, 7. And then we've got Summer Sellers from season 21. Then we've got people eliminated with 6 votes. Shayna.
Oh no, one of my favorites.
One of the few bright spots of season 16.
Yeah, Gizzy Barton.
Oh man, these eliminations are getting hard now. She should definitely be a top 100 chef. Yeah.
Yeah, here comes another hat drop. Jessica Vogel and another season 20 contestant, Sam Garman.
Still, Jessica's still one of the saddest eliminations like ever.
Yeah.
And again, that's discounting that she's no longer with us, but that actually makes it even harder.
Yeah, and I appreciate that you're one of those people that like saw I was sad at the beginning and wasn't like, because some people just was like, oh, toughen up, like people get eliminated, that's part of life. But I'm like, she has a reason to cry. She's going home, it sucks.
I mean, like, yeah, it's a game. Like, I acknowledge that, but it is one of those things where you can still see how much she's breaking down from this. Like, you gotta feel for her a little bit.
Yeah, she looks like she's, and I was like, I got
we know.
she was poor, Like, yeah, I'll shut up. Okay, Jason Ellis.
Ooh, that one hurts me too.
Cool guy.
Yeah. Then we've got not Roshni Gurnani. Yeah. And then we're gonna go to 113th place. That is another season 20 contestant. Not the winner, Megan Gill, but the runner-up, Megan Gill. And then Flynn's gonna be a bit upset. We're gonna get started with the 5 people eliminated with 5 votes, and one of them is Flynn's boy, Drew.
Yeah, my boy. Yeah.
Cool dude.
Yeah. Fernando.
A guy who was weirdly sniped at a cherry source himself.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's foreshadowing. Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, it's true. Vinny Accardi.
Oh, say it, chat.
Random drop off for him.
Yeah. And then we've got who was, in my opinion, like I said, I foreshadowed earlier, we've got the real villain of season 20, Antonio Ruiz.
He improved. I'm okay with him.
He improved. I'm sorry, but like, if there had to be one person who was the villain of that season, it's him.
True. Any guy who says like who offers to put himself on the block and then literally minutes later says, "I never did that."
Yeah, that or like if Bryn was breaking down early in the season, maybe Okay. Elizabeth Bianchi, season 9.
Who?
Yeah, because Natalie Blake got more attention. What else is there? Oh yeah, someone else from season 23. Gumball, who do you think?
So we know Egypt's gone. I know Anthony's gone as well.
It's a girl.
Okay. I'm guessing Whit's gone too by this point. I'm just trying to remember like who's still in it or not.
Whit is still in.
Okay. Is it Whit?
Well, I said she's still in. Okay, I actually, you're right. I should have. Whit is still in, and she's not out here. She's in the top 100.
Who is it?
Okay, it's one of the 2 people that was on the block tonight.
Okay, Brittany. Bad episode for her, Brittany. Oh man, double whammy for Brittany. You always say when that happens.
Yeah.
He goes home and then goes home same episode.
And then here comes another hat drop.
No, man, we're having all the hat drops today. Oh no.
Aaron Song. And then another runner-up, Bonnie. Oh yeah, that's the thing where it's weird because we got like 3 people from season 3 that are eliminated around the same point. You'll see. First, the other person that was on the block tonight, Anne Marie.
Oh man.
And then here comes the 3rd person from season 3, Jen.
Don't take spaghetti out of the trash.
Oh yeah. And then we've got the last person from season 20 eliminated, Emily Hirsch. And then we've got the One Trick Pony, as I joked to Ultra the other day, another in this case veteran rather than all-star, Brett. And there you have it. You have your recently eliminated 26 contestants. Now, I'm just going to make this quick. I'm not going to list everybody in the top 100, but I just want to say the number per season of contestants in the top 100 just for fun.
Probably should just.
If we have time.
Yeah, I mean, real quick, do it as fast as you can. Yeah, we've again plenty of time.
Yeah, okay. I'll make this quick.
We're having fun, but don't drag us on too long.
Yeah. So first, season 1, there's 3 people left. Season 2, there's 2 people left. Season 3, there's 2 people left. Season 4, there's 4 people left. Season 5, there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people left. Season 6, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people left. Season 7, there are 5 people left. Season 8, there's just 1 person left. Season 9, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people left if you count Jason. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people left for season 10. 1, 2, 3. Yep, only 3 people left for season 11. 1, 2, 3 people left. 4 if you count Jason for season 12. 1, 2, 3. 3 people left for season 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people left for season 14. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for season 15. 1, 2, 3 for season 16. Then we skip to season 18. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 people left. Season 19. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people left. Season 20. Just 2 people left for season 20. That was a big eliminator for season 20. Just 2 people left. Season 21, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 people left. That's it. Season 22, this is where you've got the biggest population. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 people left. That's what happens when Flynn gets a bunch of guests from season 22. And then with season 23, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people left.
All right, cool. Yeah, so yeah, guys, you have a month to before the next freaking episode. My goodness, the vote for the next. Are 20 people going home next one too, as well, Ruby? Or
yeah. So I'm going to make this quick. So basically, how it's going to work this time is because next episode is going to be like a month. You guys are going to vote for around 26 or 30 people, whatever. You guys are going to vote to save this time. You're not going to vote to eliminate. You're going to vote to save. And what's going to happen is those votes to save are going to get added to their vote scores. And I'm going to factor in the vote scores for the entire history of the votes. Throughout the entire history of the voting competition, 26 more chefs will be eliminated. So basically the 26 chefs with the worst voting scores. So this is basically your chance to save them by boosting their voting score in a positive way by saving them. And that's it. That's all I have to say. And I know I talked way too fucking much.
You're good. Well, I know it's gonna be long because we had extra people to eliminate and obviously top 100. But that's okay though. So yeah, guys, go vote for Ruby. So not only the top 100. It's getting serious now for sure to find out who is. I'll tell you what.
If you guys vote, I'll give you a 7-day grace period, and after 7 days, you guys can vote again. I'll give you the permission to vote again every 7 days.
Yeah, because we got, like I said, a freaking month. This is again the last episode of 2024. Hell's Kitchen 23 will be back on, I think January 2nd. So the first Thursday of 2025. Oh my goodness, it's gonna be so far. But I was so excited. At least we ended on a strong note. Michael Egypt, I was so glad, so happy you guys were able to join us. Do you guys, Michael, I'll start with you. Where can people find you on social media? What can people expect from you going forward? And do you have any other final comments, whether it's your life in general, Hell's Kitchen, just kind of give it to us.
So yeah, I'm on Instagram at chef_Michael_Lovano. I try to stay active on there, post a lot of the food that we make, and try to just display the country club and myself very well on my Instagram.
Cool. Egypt, same thing for you. Any last words you got for the chat? You've been very fun to have with the tea spilled for sure. But any other things you got to say for
no, just that it was great being on here. Thank you for the opportunity for me to come on and say my own piece. People can follow me at on Instagram or TikTok, _busy chef, BIZZY chef, or just Egipto Davis on Facebook, which my name is Spanish. But no, I appreciate you guys having me on here. Hell's Kitchen was an amazing ride, and I am looking forward to watching it complete just like you guys are. So thank you again.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So right on that note, guys, Grant and chat, it does seem that this was the last episode, so I have to wait till 2025 for it to resume. So it's going to be a hell of a long wait. So I hope you all
a hell of a long wait.
yeah, I hope you all enjoy your Christmas during that time, New Year, all that stuff, and finishing 2024 strong. Whether this was a good or bad year for you all, I hope you finish it strong. What to expect from me, as you guys know, I posted my first video of my new series I'm doing. Well, I already kind of started it before, but officially to finish my year strong, to rank every chef myself from each season, which will finally culminate. I've never done this in 2 years of my channel, but finally culminate in my top 10 and top 10 least favorite chefs to finish the year. So yeah, I posted season 1 today, so give that a watch and just expect that the rest of the year. And yeah, that's all. That's pretty much going to be happening for me the rest of December. Hell's Kitchen wise, Ultra, Gumball, Ruby. Anything else to say before we call it a night? In 2024, for that matter.
I'm still working my tail off on my 1.5 thousand subscriber special. I'm hoping to get that out at least before New Year's. I have footage filmed for my worst hit songs of 2014. That's going to come out a little later than I expected, but hey, things just pop up out of nowhere. It's at least coming. I appreciate all the people who do watch me and appreciate all y'all for your patience as well. And after that video, Total Drama reviews are coming back. Like I gotta do at least one more. I missed that so much.
I want to be famous.
Yeah, of course. Well, I'm sure Gumball, you're of course going to get back to schedule with your Monday power rankings, right?
Yeah. So I'll have a video out on Monday. Beyond that, I mean, obviously Survivor's still happening, so like a lot of my focus has been on that. And then during the break, I mean, I'll probably make like general Survivor videos. Probably get back to my Hell's Kitchen chef rankings. So I hope I'll be able to get to that during the break. And yeah, I mean, it's been a pretty fun ride so far.
It has been. It's been a fun. At least for me, I've had a good 2024, guys, and I hope you all have had a good 2024 as well. So hope you all finish it strong. Again, hope you all have a good Christmas and a happy New Year. And until 2025, I can't believe I'm saying this, but we will see you all in 2025. Until then, have a good one, guys. Thanks again for watching.
Bye, guys.